Alright, welcome everybody to the Union City special meeting, Town Hall Union City, County Union City Board, April 23rd, 2025 at 6 p.m. Ryan, could you pray for me, please?
Sure. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for allowing us to get together and do meetings for this town. Guide and direct us and let everything go as planned. In your name I pray. Amen.
Keith.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. Present.
Ryan Dawson.
Present.
Keith Dennett.
Here.
James Smith.
Present.
Chad Fisher. Absent. 4-6-0-1.
Number 5, water billing software. Got an email back from Tom. We do have the go. It is actually a trust in our municipal, not a whatever it was we couldn't do. So we can sign up with a better contract with better. Do I have a motion on the water?
We need to put it subject to the receipt of the final contract, correct? That's what you put here in this letter.
Yes.
So I make a motion, we approve for the new water billing software for I3 Vertical, subject to a receipt of final contract in its current form with the legal entity from the authority identified thereon.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
3 or 5, these are both.
I think he wrote me 3.
I believe the contract is a 3-year.
He said you do both, I just asked him to cover it.
Yeah, here he said 3 years,
Yeah.
so we'll do 3 years. That's what Tom recommended.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Coming out of the municipal funds?
Yes, it will. Alright, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Number 6, sales tax increase, consideration of possible approval, denial, amendment, revision, and acceptance of resolution 24-2504, establishing date of start of half-cent sales tax increase approved by election held on April 1st, 2025. Do I have a motion on 6?
So it can be effective immediately?
Yes.
Once we do this, okay.
We have to send it to Oklahoma Tax Commission before the 30th, or we have to wait till October for it to be
Okay.
implemented.
I make a motion, we approve agenda item number 6 for the sales tax increase of a half cent.
Second?
And those funds will go into general?
No, limited use fund.
Oh, those, okay, we have
It'll
those.
be in its own account.
It's in on, we'll have to set that account up, okay.
Alright, motion and second, all those in favor? Aye. Motion approved. Number 7, sale of town-owned property. Consideration of possible approval, denial, amendment, or revision, or acceptance of the sale of 2 acres of town property located near Park Drive.
So, we have a drawing where this is,
We don't have anything yet. We're just trying to get everything in motion.
okay.
So we have, G-Bird Properties is wanting to purchase 2 acres of property. Basically, the end result is they want us to cheap sell the property and let them move the trailer park there so they can develop this commercial. It'll either be a car wash and something.
Sell it or trade?
Sell it. They want to purchase that property. And they'll develop this property into commercial, so we
Sell
pay
or
tax
trade?
revenue off of it.
Wasn't trade. Give or sell.
So,
And what price are we getting? When you say,
Well, so I've had Cameron kind of look into it, and she said, do you remember what it was? She thinks it's worth 10 an acre, develop ready to go. Because of what it is.
25 birds.
It's not developed, so.
25 birds.
I paid 11 each, 12 acres.
I paid 10. That's some big tracks.
Yeah.
So we'll compromise for 15.
I paid 10,000 for a half acre on the corner down there.
Yeah. What again, sir?
I paid 10,000 for a half acre on the corner of Maple down there about 7 years ago, prior to COVID.
The end result is, if it's something that doesn't go in, we're gonna get a trailer park back, right in the middle of the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's no prices listed here and that's my only thing, so.
Well, and that's up to you.
Yeah, so we're asking for that now?
We gotta figure out what we wanna sell it.
Or are you even interested in mobile home park going there?
Yes.
Cause you had to rezone that town.
That would be him bringing in water lines, him putting in the curbs and gutters and all the crap that goes with it.
That's like last water and sewers on him?
Mhm.
And then,
That's a lot.
this time they'll concrete where each trailer's gonna go, like it says in our ordinance.
Hard surface,
Huh?
hard surface,
Yep.
Hard surface as in concrete? Is it,
or blacktop.
or blacktop, okay.
He's talking about where the trailer sits.
Yeah, or the trailer, that's how I read it, I can't remember exactly, I'd have to read it again.
For a new trailer
Yeah,
park,
we'll have to go.
Yeah.
that's something you guys will have to hash out.
Yeah. So, at that
Out of
point.
sight, out of mind out back there.
Yeah.
I like it better not being on Main Street, my only concern is it 2 acres along the whole entire back side here? Or is it would that 2 acres take up that entire road?
I think it's
North
straight
to
back
south.
to the fence line.
Yeah.
It's back there behind Park Drive.
What he's saying is it run north and south along Park Drive, or does it go straight back?
East and west, would it run east and west,
Like
or would it run
bordering
north?
McComas or bordering Park Drive?
I think it's gonna border McComas back there.
That'd be better,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it would be a complete, you'd take that road where you go into Park
We would
Drive
go
now, and you
land behind
would
it,
go
yeah.
straight on back into another road, basically.
So it's like
where the
we
house
right
is.
there across the street from the house.
The
on
houses,
Park Drive.
yes, that's my understanding, the area you want.
Yeah. So like Park Drive would
It would just
just
continue
continue in.
east.
Call it something else to run down the road.
Who's paying for the survey and all that for your survey?
Probably,
We'd have to pay for it for the lot split.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we gotta do a lot split on it in order to do it. He's available by phone if you have questions for him.
Cause we'd originally kinda done it in thirds, and that back third was 13 acres is what I have, and I'm sorry,
Just
that's
have to
not
survey
correct.
all however much you guys agree on.
hey, sir. We're sitting here, we're in discussion on, this piece of property. The 2 acres that you're interested in, is that 2 acres along the McComas line behind Griggs, or up closer to Parkview, or Park Drive?
I mean, whatever works out best, but what I was generally thinking about in our conversation was the furthest, to make the width, the furthest 2 acres to the north, where both of us butts up against I would say that's the McComas.
Yeah.
I mean, and get the access, whatever, width there, but the length, but to get 2 acres there on the
Okay.
farthest north side, and that's, I mean, not taking, just taking the back, whatever residential, whatever you wanna call it, park back there.
Okay. Alrighty, any more questions for him, anyone?
He's aware that, east side's a flood zone back there, I don't know, I was gonna try to draw this.
Are
up
you
real
on
quick.
the, are you
That east side,
thinking the
flood
east
zone.
side or the west side?
West side, I'm sure he wants the west side, but,
Well, there's a fence over there.
yeah.
Well, I want accessible, whatever's accessible, whatever we can do to make it, or together, I mean, if we can work together, I don't know, floodplain wise, I appreciate that, yeah, I don't want to be where I can't do anything in it.
Yeah.
If we can raise that, or if that can be raised, or whatever part of it,
Yeah,
we can work that out. I don't know the limitations there, but I want to have access to it.
the engineer has already looked at that piece of property, and he said it's a pretty small culvert that has to go in to raise it. Do you remember what he said? It was 13 inches or something, wasn't it? Something goofy.
With us, I thought it should be.
Not a
Yeah.
lot, not a lot.
It wasn't very much at all.
I mean, if I mean, y'all have the documents on that, if it can be raised, that don't bother me anyway.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It couldn't be raised
I
without pushing.
wanna be beneficial for both of us. If it works out great, I
agree. Now, what would your,
At least I do, sorry, I'm not speaking.
what are the things that you would like to plan on developing on this piece of property on Main?
I told somebody today that if I am available to move the trailer park, that opens up a ton of different avenues. I told you, I'm not hiding anything. There's people, I know people that will fight love, and for gas and different things. I know we need stuff. I'm down for whatever. I'll fight for Dollar General. I just haven't had that avenue, and I know there's still conversations. If not, I think there's a laundromat I talked to people about. I would love a small car wash. You can ask Mr. Dawson what I told him the other day. Why haven't put a strip mall out by Love? He's more than welcome to share what I told him, why I have it. There's reasons, but if you find a partner to do it, I'll partner up with him tomorrow to do it.
What about 3.2 acres? That's what I come up with. It'll take us all the way north of, Ludi Griggs, and that squares that up. It's 3.2 acres.
That's what else I got too.
That gets you down by Justin
But
Taylor
he
down
needs
there.
to be-
No, that's just straight across from the top of north of Ludi's fence, straight across. Yes,
That's 3.2.
2 acres.
Would you be more interested in that? And it squares everything up for our property, so it's easier for us?
Whatever works for you guys, we can work out. I want to work with the city to make this beneficial for both of us. Clean her up,
Do you have a
clean
phone
up,
number or no?
let's do the right thing.
Do you have a screenshot of that 3 acres?
Whatever makes
I can
it
send it
beneficial
tomorrow.
for all.
Okay,
Tell him to hold on a second.
hang on one second.
Okay.
Cause if he only
I
wants
just-
2 acres, he'll leave that back there.
Forward that picture I just sent to you to him.
Alright, hang on one second, I'm
You
gonna
know,
forward this
if he
picture.
only wants 2 acres, it would come up from the.
Tell him that's not perfect, we'll have that up in the,
Y'all
just
want
a
that
general
TV in here we can
concept.
see it or no?
A general concept, yeah, I do, that's what I just sent to
Yeah.
him, that right there, and I came with 3.3, that's because it's
As
mine.
long as don't
Down.
be that, so it's city.
I don't like to do that one little job back
And
there.
I'll be upfront, I told Ryan, Bob, I told you this, I just would like to move forward. I don't mind you putting pressure on
Yeah,
me to
so basically what that line is, if we went straight across from right there and did that triangle right there.
Alright, did you get that photo I sent?
Yeah, look, brother, one second.
And tell him that's not perfect, that's just a,
Yeah, that's just kind of a rough sketch.
Oh, I get what you're saying,
I can do
where you don't have to worry about the stuff behind Ludi,
Yeah,
right north of Ludi, that doesn't bother me.
tell him that where that blue line is, where the floodplain lies, so.
If that's the floodplain, that might end up just being a grassy area, park area,
Yeah.
where we get stuff anyway.
And that is,
Triangle right here.
that's the,
Triangle, it's rectangle.
that's the blue line is the flood.
Yeah.
That might just be a runoff area, just let it
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it would be true, it is now, what is it?
So, that's,
There is sewer and water at the road there, right?
there's sewer and water at the road, yeah, I mean, all those houses have sewer and water.
Well, it's,
In the alley behind
It
there.
is accessible, correct?
the water would really have to come from 81, but other than that, sewers,
He said the water would have to come from 81, but the sewer.
that's only a little 4-inch line over there.
Okay.
But,
We can work something together for future for you guys and just, depending on what side of the line, David, I think I hear you correct, just on, just to get water.
yeah, I don't think that line that's there would feed you and Park Drive, but just right along 81, there's an 8-inch.
Okay.
So it's not really that much further. And then sewer, if you can visualize those houses that's facing you, it would be behind them in the alley.
In between that
Okay,
road.
yeah.
Make sense? Yeah.
If we get the sewer north of those houses on the east, out there, more in the road,
What do I type in?
Yeah, you could actually, you wouldn't have to do that. You could go on the north side of that road to it. Does that make sense?
okay, well, we can stay on the north side of the road, the sewer.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, those all work.
I mean, as long as the engineer does it.
I'll make it work both ways. And if that, let's just say it's over 3 acres, we'll just leave if that's the floodplain, I'll just
now they're gonna have a picture for you in just a moment. Teresa's over here hollering, playground.
Playground. I like that green area, I like the playground idea.
Playground slash library.
There's already a park there.
Park there.
There's a park there.
I want to park there.
Yeah, right there beside that.
So are we talking luxury, single-wide mobile homes?
Pardon me, sir?
I said, are we talking luxury, single-wide mobile homes?
Yeah, granite countertops.
I just asked that they not be allowed to be over a certain.
If I move it over there, I will not allow older than a 10-year-old trailer house to be moved in at any time.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, right there, Awesome.
I mean, I gotta give a little lenience in case someone else, when I'm just looking out, just really for the best of everybody.
Yeah.
But I will not allow an older than 10 to be moved in at any time, and I can put that in the coordinates, and that can be followed and upkept by you guys as well, too.
Now, are you purchasing all these homes, or are you gonna allow people to bring in their own and rent a space from you?
Both.
I don't think you heard me.
He said both.
Oh,
Both, okay.
I didn't hear him.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, forward that picture we just sent to you to him. Alright, hold on, fix to forward you another one.
You know, we obviously can get more technical about this later on, but it gives a general idea of how much of that shows to be.
Chief, is that approximately, I mean, if you draw it off, is it approximately an acre, or do you think it's even that much?
I'm gonna go with right at an acre if I was gonna guess. It could be an acre and a quarter.
Oh, so we go kind of right in the middle of the land?
No, it's the full eastern side.
It's a long strip.
Okay, I'm trying to, okay, I see what we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think that, I mean, I agree with probably about an acre. I mean, if that, I'm trying to remember the slopage, drainage, David, is everything gonna run that way too?
What's that, Cindy?
Will everything run towards that flood zone?
It comes off, it runs from north to south.
Runs from north to south.
It comes straight through there.
The water does.
Okay.
He's talking about the flood,
Yeah,
yeah.
it'll come straight through.
Mine just needed about 5 acres.
Water goes to
17.
right there.
Yeah.
It also goes from here to the
Yeah.
north, and then there's a ditch coming all the way across
Just
to
to
right
build
here.
it up, I don't mind leaving it in the flood area.
So that
I
does
just
that
don't
ditch.
want to trap water on them north.
Yeah.
If you do it right, you could possibly apply to FEMA to take that, a portion of that out of the floodplain.
Yeah, we're waiting on that.
It's not a big area, but you can still
Or dig a
petition.
fishing pond.
And you can petition.
Yeah.
FEMA's new map, we're waiting on that.
We're a long way from that, boys and girls.
We've been waiting on one for how many years for fire?
We are not a priority community.
Yeah.
Well, if we don't fit then,
Teresa,
that
I
was
don't know
weird.
when I say this, but is a trailer house listed up enough with, in that area? I mean, counting this, I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to, but if we're only 9 inches as a trailer house.
If you're gonna put it up on 2 blocks, or you put it up on 2 cinder blocks, normally,
Yeah.
which is 2
Yeah.
feet, pretty close to that, it'll pull it up out of the flood zone. But because it sits in a flood zone, if you do put a mobile home on a section of that that's in the flood zone, you're gonna be required to provide an elevation certificate from an engineer.
I will tell you, I'm probably not gonna put one on there.
Okay. That was the thing with the backside of the trailer park.
No, I'm fine, and I'm fine with that, I mean,
So yes, it pulls them out, but still,
Yeah,
it'll pull them out, but the requirement's still there.
yeah, I'm fine with that, I mean, that gives an open area, the road could slow down with that too, and park benches or whatever, we can make it look good.
Do what?
A walking trail.
A walking trail.
Walking trail.
Golly.
I'm trying here, I'm trying to find a use for that property.
Park bench, how about that?
There we are.
Whatever they want to and hang out.
There you go.
Oh, Adam wants pull-up bar.
Now, see, I wasn't going that far.
Join the Marines. How long can you stay?
Oh, Lord, man. Okay.
No, I mean, and if you guys would like to talk, I mean, I got more options, I'm gonna probably do the frontage, when I say with the frontage, either, and I hate them, they're fireworks
I mean, I like Cedar Creek, don't get me wrong, as far as, for that purpose,
The flood.
no more than it would be, I don't think it'd be
Yeah.
that big. Yeah, I've
How
seen them
far
blow
off
up,
do you
Solid
think?
Creek.
You're going on a
Huh?
life order.
How far off
Yeah.
until you would wanna start that project?
How far off until you would start that project?
I wanna start moving, just like you said, brother, one way or the other, I wanna start pushing. If this happens, I'll go to the bank and get a line of work, we're rocking and rolling, and you can push time limits on me.
Yeah, that's me.
As soon as it
No,
closes.
I don't, I mean, just as soon as we can get going, brother, and, I mean, I'm gonna start moving on it.
Okay. All right, any more discussion for anyone?
So what, how many acres total do you want? Besides 15?
Oh, my God.
What do you want?
I was only asking for two, so the same equivalent.
You're asking for two, we got you three.
We want that frontage to be sold as commercial, it's worth a whole lot more money.
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole other
Oh,
conversation.
absolutely,
Yeah.
I mean, I would be dumb to ask for that to put this there, we would be defeating the purpose, in my opinion. I mean, just to change it over on your frontage, that's easier, in my opinion. So, get a part back, I think it looks better, I think it takes it away from the two main focus roads coming into town, and I think it's a win-win for everybody.
What do you think you'd wanna pay for those properties?
Well, property.
The 3 acres, the 3 acres.
3 acres.
Like I told you, I'll be somewhat fair, but I don't have to do this. You guys talk, I think it's a benefit to both of us, we're getting meters, we're getting other things, I get it. I'm not saying it's not worth anything to me, it's gonna be a very minute number, but I want to be good to the city, I've always wanted to be that way, so, I mean, I'm not saying I won't give you anything for it, but it's gonna be, I'll give you something, but it'll be minute, but it'll clean up the city and we'll both benefit from it.
What would be the expectation of construction starting on this piece of property on Main,
Main.
or on 81?
Oh, like I said, I don't wanna handcuff myself, and I'm just being real honest. If you tell, because like I told someone today, I'm like, I can tell you, I'll put a laundry mat and a car wash up in this city and a couple people in the town, but that's not tax dollars for the community, if you want my honest opinion. Now, this goes on, it gives us a door to try to get some other tax dollars in. It might be more beneficial than a car wash running or a laundry mat for, I mean, you guys tell me what you think the city needs for it too. I told the same person, give me an option to sell up front or put something up there that brings more, I can always put a car wash in the back. You can zone it all commercial, and then, you know.
What?
A cafe.
Ryan wants a cafe, Jacob.
Dollar General.
I told Ryan, you find a person to run one, and I'll help any way I can and do my part of getting it going.
Well, you know what, I got a tent, Ryan's got a Blackstone, heck, he can start his own cafe.
There's a lot of people that make a lot of money selling pancakes on their front porch.
Wow.
But no, I mean, I don't have a timeline on the front, I haven't stopped it in this way, I've always planned on going mobile home park. I bought it as that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, what do you think is a fair number on our property?
You won't get a number from me, brother, I'm not being rude. You give me a number, we'll go from there. I think we're both helping each other out, but you go from there. I'm not, no disrespect, I'm just, I mean, we sit on land, I sit on land, it's hard to sell some land, it's not the best land. There's a little value, I'm just being honest, I don't know.
Any input?
12.
Ryan says 12.
Per.
12 what?
12 per.
Ryan says 12,000 per acre.
I'm out.
Any other thoughts? I mean, it's undeveloped, there ain't nothing there. Pretty good swap.
I don't want the pressure, I'm not paying 12 an acre.
Okay. Well, let us talk and we'll let you know.
I'm not close to that an acre.
What are you at?
I'll give you $10,000 for it. Oh. And that's probably a little too much, that's me being nice, probably when I don't have to, but I get it, but it's not the best, but, I mean, I don't have to buy property right now either. And just being honest, not being ugly, I'll do it, because I'm a man of my word, but like I told you, there's a lot of other things we need to do, and I'll help the city. But I can do, if I wanted to be an ass, I can do the city where I want it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do that anymore either. So, I mean, I told you, I don't like giving numbers, so I'll give you $10,000, y'all talk and let me know, I wanna do
Okay.
that.
I'll call you and let you know we come up with it.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Think about what it's worth to not have a mobile home park sitting on Highway 81,
That's my thought.
coming from a girl that grew up taking care of that mobile home park.
Me personally, I don't really care about the price of that piece of property back here on that backside. What I do care about is rezoning this entire thing commercial.
His property,
That way we never, ever have to see those trailers.
can that be a condition of the sale?
You can.
But then he can sell that land and he can turn around there.
Not
You
just
get
on
them-
commercial,
The board would have to.
you couldn't go back to a mobile home park, the only
Well, may not be
reason,
mobile homes,
you couldn't do it for 10 acres. You'd have to have 10 acres, and you don't have 10 acres.
For what?
For a new mobile home park there.
that's not too big.
That's not 10,
No.
that's gonna have to be a variance
We
for
would have to do a
allowed.
variance allowing the moving of that entity
And that's an
to that area.
it's an existing mobile home park that's
How
already.
many trailers did you say he's gonna put in there?
He was gonna start out with 10 on the front over here, I'm assuming probably the same thing there.
I can tell you, roads and sewer and water is gonna be over $500,000, I don't know how
That would
that.
take a lot of money.
You're gonna spend a lot of money. I ain't gonna lie.
4-inch line, probably make it work, or 6?
What I would suggest, helps everybody, even if we had to do a little bit, would be tiling that 8 with an 8, at least run it to the edge there. That way eventually, we can turn and go south to the property, down there.
So would the town help him get an 8-inch to his property, so that we have it, or how does that work? That's what I'm just asking.
You know,
Supposed to pay for the homes, what the ordinances say.
Right, but if he's wanting. to-
Ordinance says, but we can decide what's
What
chose
he's
there.
required.
Right. It's gotta be a minimum of 6,
That's
or
what I'm
5.
asking, that's what I'm asking.
So,
but for our use of that property, we'd either be 8, at least in the middle of our property.
yeah, if we went 8 to the edge, then he could probably go 4 inside the property, on his side, then we could, eventually, if we need to turn and go right down
I mean,
Point Drive
me-
with 8.
We'd figure out what it costs to do it as 4 all the way across, and then figure out what the price difference is to do it as 8, we pay the price difference.
The biggest price is the labor, so probably wouldn't be a ton, I mean, there is some, but, you know what I mean? Digging down, hooking on and all that, so,
You know,
that'd be something we could entertain, if we, 'cause I think we should require 8 up to that corner, that way we can turn and go south onto the commercial part eventually,
At some point, there'll be something.
or housing, or whatever might go south of there,
thoughts,
if we did it.
preferably from decision makers?
I don't think 12,000 acres even too, I think it's too low. You got a road right there, going into it. You're gonna put mobile homes right across from houses that already exist right there. And then if you plan on ever expanding that out on the east side of it, then who's gonna wanna build right next to it? New homes, back behind it on that proposed property. probably not a lot of people. Not nice owners.
Well, I can tell you, Union City isn't, they don't even have a inkling of wanting a nice home here.
This is a hearing state.
I've been down that road, up beat that horse,
It's
I've
big one
led
day.
it to water.
About 50,000 just to get it from the road to the corner. 8-inch one, I guess,
From 81 to that property.
just to the corner.
That's expensive.
I mean, it's 46,410, it was like 700 something feet, $65 a foot. That's just a rough guess.
I agree with Jimmy 100%. The only benefit here is getting the current.
So the spot we are in is, but he's gonna roll.
Yeah, but the board doesn't have to approve a trailer park, even in the existing spot.
I don't think we have an option.
It's already a mobile home park.
Mm-hmm.
Not because the business license has been pulled.
Business license is in place for that mobile home
No,
park.
it was never paid those last 2 years.
No, Jacob got his
That
business
was,
license.
they had to
You
pay
have-
all that
you have his
up front
I
to
business
close
do,
it.
I do for that mobile home park, I sure do.
Yeah, it's ready to roll.
It's ready to roll, it's on the.
You talking about where it's at?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
on the tax rolls as an accessory mobile home park, I had no choice. And I was even told that by our legal counsel, and no choice but to issue a business license.
That's where the.
It is a mobile home park. Now, when that year's license expires, you know, unless you renew it prior to the expiration, you know, then it becomes free. I don't see how you can deny it then either. Because it is existing. As long as he keeps his license, he can put mobile homes all the way across there.
It's kind of a conundrum.
It's one few times, if I was sitting there, I'm not sure what I'd do. I'm
Yeah.
serious.
It's a tough spot to be in.
I'm not opposed to it being located there at all. That's not the biggest question for me. I mean, it's just a price. It's 10,000 for 3
That being said, will it have to be put out for surrounding homeowners?
It's zoning exempt at this point because it's owned by the city. The city would have to agree to allow it to be zoned R1A, to change that zoning to R1A upon completion of the sale.
That was one of the biggest benefits of purchasing it. You know, it gives the town the option to fully control what does and does not go in there.
That's the thing.
You still got the prison there, you're still gonna have OMA, it's gonna be tapped out on the height, but it's gonna be wider. So we're still looking at that, we're still looking at the twin towers.
Is it OUMA's water runs down through there? Or no? No? It's round around.
Yeah, they're catching that creek when it's going
Further
down.
east.
Yeah. The only thing I'm hung up on is the price, that's it. For me, personally. I don't want a trailer park on Main Street.
Yeah.
What's
They
that
come down
pay
to
for
what,
water meters?
320?
Huh?
750 a meter?
That's something we'd have to, because when they put the addition in, they do it themselves, you know? Except for the south, but we do cost plus. Would that be considered commercial?
The
I
residential
want to
meter.
say the development,
That's another thing, you gonna have one master or one for every trailer out?
I think it should be one for,
I
I
do.
think it's what it was wanted, was one for every trailer, that's what
And
he was
that's
gonna
what
do
he
here.
told him over here, that he couldn't go back with one master meter, gonna have to meter each one.
Yeah.
I think
Make sure.
that's even safer for him.
Yes.
If
It's
somebody
also
moves there, they
safer-
got a water bill, they don't care what
It's
they're
also
doing.
safer down the road depending on if he flips it or not, you know? It's safer for the town down the road.
Town more.
Well, like this guy, when he owned it, half the time he wouldn't pay his water bill, we turned it off a few times, they turned all the residents off.
Mhm.
That's kinda not right, you know?
Yeah.
Not fair.
what do you think it would cost him to hook up sewer?
Well, that'd be a manhole set where we're gonna tie in. And then that'd be, you know, it's gotta be DQ approved, but I got a rough estimate for water and sewer running over to there that time when we first bought it. And that was, when, how long ago, that's before COVID, wasn't it? And it was four something.
I can tell you, if, this is my opinion, if you went that cheap on that land, I don't see how there'd be any way that the town tries to help them in any way with the sewer or water.
But we can require, you know,
The city would,
What side work?
yeah, the
The
city would
only,
set
the only
time
part
for,
that I would ever recommend that we help with, and I mean, we're not actually helping, but we figure out what the cost of that 4-inch line would be, or 6-inch line, and what it would cost for the upgrade.
pays for the
That way
difference in
we
finding.
get our water where we need it. So it's primed, ready to go for whoever wants it.
Whether they.
I don't say we pay,
yeah,
if it starts the road, goes to the middle, I'm not saying we pay for all that.
yeah,
I'm saying whatever the difference is from upgrading it, we pay for the upgrade, you know.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Which is only the cost of the pipe itself, not the.
Yeah, I wouldn't,
Labor.
I mean,
And a good fire hydrant.
So,
6-inch line will do a lot.
8-inch, so 6 inches 50, what's an 8-inch gonna cost?
That's what I'm guessing. Cause I know, 6-inch was, 49 a foot, so they quote on that.
So probably 50.
I will tell you, our engineer is over hot on that stuff, he wants to run 12-inch, like, I mean, won't be two.
Yeah.
We're never gonna be that point.
And
We got
the
8-inch coming from El Reno, so, you know.
So what do you think, 40 grand cost to hook up the sewer?
You know the difference?
No, it cost them, what do you think, 40 grand to hook up the sewer?
For all of them?
To hook in and drag it over there to him?
Oh, yeah, I'd say probably more than that, I'd bet like 60 or so. Was that set a manhole and run you talking about to get to his property?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, what is that, about 100 foot probably or more?
Yeah.
Something like that. Gotta have a manhole every two something. I really don't know, but I think at least be that or more, yeah.
60 to 80. Or 70.
But that's just to get to his property. Then he'll have to run it for, you know, all those.
So, how much are our meters?
Approximately, you mean like for everything we need to set a meter?
What do we charge people for that?
Well, it's cost plus, cause remember how the prices,
Yeah.
we set one the other day, but it's commercial rate. What was it, total, 1,100?
1583.
But that was a bigger meter too, that was a 1-inch meter.
So $1,000 bucks?
I'd say probably roughly 7 each,
Is it 100?
each house, you know. Meter can, meter, setter.
The setter will cost the most.
So them some guns went way up, and
I bought a case of them today.
that's forever 70, what are they, like 225 now, 250 now?
$7 grand.
Might be a little more, because of the meters.
A 1-inch meter, all it is just everything's 1 inch coming off just 1 inch CTS. Coming off the main line, going to a 1-inch setter, and that setter is 1 inch all the way through. Residential's 5/8,
Right.
and it'll be a 1-inch feed to a 5/8, same thing.
I bet it's real close to $500,000
Easily.
to make it roll.
Yeah. For 10 mobile homes, I don't know how that ever works.
I don't think,
I ain't no businessman, but I mean.
They're not cheap.
and he said hard surface roads, that'd be,
Yeah, asphalt all down.
I don't see how that works.
I don't either.
I think you can get something set up what you're planning on.
But I'm thinking that if it doesn't work, and it doesn't get it done in a year, we make a contingent property reverse back to the city, and we zone this shit in the village.
Surely you can put more than 10 in there though.
I thought you said
He
20.
was gonna start with 10.
Yeah.
That was up here, not over
In
there.
front over here, over there, I don't know.
Yeah.
We didn't get that
Is
far.
there a, like, we don't have a
If
thing
you
saying
could
how
ask
far
him.
apart you gotta be or anything?
That one time, that guy was gonna put, how many? The first guy,
148 of them.
All he has there now is 2 acres.
no, the guy that owned the trailer park before.
He had one,
He
I
was,
took a
he had
picture.
20, he was
Oh, you
like,
turned in a plan, remember
You
that?
can
Yeah.
do,
Like
you can do
23.
up to 24. There's
What was
room up
removed
to
off there
24.
was 1,
he was
2,
gonna,
3,
he had
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He had 9 shoved in there on, 8 of them were on 1 acre and then 1 was on the other acre.
The plan he submitted had 24, is
Yeah.
where it's at now. The guy before Jacob.
All that crap would get 24 in there.
So if you get 24 in there,
He'd have to have
and
all
you got
in
3
there.
acres, that'd be,
Cause we
Wait,
said
30.
that we wanted them all independent water meters and chain link fence along eighty-one.
What you're forgetting is, he can put where up front where there's never been a mobile home. So, they could actually do 3 rows.
maybe
I've
you-
never understood why there's supposed to be an easement running down the middle of that property running north and south.
The road,
That's a road.
Ash
So he
Street.
couldn't
It's
put-
Ash Street.
Yeah, so he would not be able to put 3
It's a
rows.
private road, he can move that. We looked into that, it's private. Not maintained or anything by the town, unfortunately.
So what'd you say about getting, the city getting it back?
He
So,
paid for it.
we could do this where all of the sale would be contingent on him having considerable progress within a year on that piece of property. If it doesn't, it reverts back to the city.
That's pretty harsh.
You have to buy it back at that cost.
I don't know, we even have to buy it back, I mean, we're kinda in the wheelhouse for that, though.
This is how you work.
All I know is I think we ought to do call whenever, we'll have 8 inch on our side, whatever goes in there, whether, well, it'll be there. So we ask for 6 and then we go up, we'll do the 6 to 8 or whatever, we'll do the,
Upgrade.
yeah, upgrade. But then if we ever put sewer over there, the sewer tie on the Carrie's house somewhere,
Y'all put, no, that's a little, they got that rigged. The sewer stops right there in the middle of the Little League football field, baseball field, sorry. You know what I'm talking about, and then they got this big line running over those 2 houses. I take a fire truck about every 3 months, flush it hard or it stops running. So there's no sewer there, basically.
Come out of pocket.
And the construction begin within 1 year, or property reverts, and immediate rezoning of existing property.
This water and sewer plan to get approved through DEQ is gonna take 6 months.
yeah, 'cause it's been on back order for DEQ, we gotta even get permits.
He doesn't have to get nothing approved over here pretty much, does he?
Come get building permit. Start with them in. But you gotta upgrade the water. You've got to do some water.
And you still have to curb.
Are you not where he's at now?
Yeah, he's gonna do some water
He'll still have to curb and pave everything and all that stuff there.
over there.
Yeah. I don't know the legalities of those contingencies, I don't know what's legal and what's not, so.
Well, the contingency was his idea.
My conversation with him, he said, y'all can push me, give me a time.
The end result is,
What's it worth not to have a trailer house on that?
Doesn't matter to me either way.
So business licenses are approved by you and not the board? You
If-
approve the business license?
If they meet all requirements, if they're. You'd have a lawsuit if I hadn't approved the business.
I don't care about lawsuits.
But
You and him,
but then-
you and him are real classic at making threats about lawsuits all the
No,
time.
I mean, no.
I'm just telling you, I don't care about
But
it.
I don't mean it in that
Yeah.
way, I'm just saying, I have to go by what the code says and by what Tom told me to do. And that's who I go to anytime I question, and then if he can't, then it comes to you guys. You know, if you guys wanna change it where everyone comes before you guys, I have no problem with that either, not at all. I was just told to do my job.
Right off the bat, it's 10 more meters, it's 10 more water bills, it's 10 more
I'm not opposed against any of it,
sewer water.
except for the price of land, that's cheap.
Way cheap.
And if it's given away that cheap, I feel strongly that the town shouldn't pay for any of the upgrade, and that it for sure has to be moved to commercial on this other property to ensure that we don't end up with two trailer parks.
Immediately.
And I do think the year's tight, I think there's a good chance they're gonna have to extend that when the year's close to being up, but. I mean, if it was my project.
Hiding back over there.
If it was my project, I would want longer than 12 months personally.
You remind me of Wilson.
Year and a half.
Year and a half, 18 months. You give him another 6 months. I mean, he can always come back and ask for an extension in front of the board at that time, but
18 months to do what? Have what then?
just to show progress.
Okay,
Yeah.
show progress, gotcha.
I think progress is.
I mean, TJ Campbell's 556, so. I told Buddy the other day, I said, you're gonna have to start down here, since we can see some progress. Being made on that Taylor Road. Nobody's seeing nothing between Evans and Manning, but they did lay asphalt there.
You ever figure
Where?
Between Evans and Manning,
Really?
around about $1,800 a month?
where they chip
Water
pull
bills.
that out.
There's no ROI how that works for that. Again, the only thing you're winning here, the only thing is getting it off the main. Other than that, this is a lose for the town.
We're gonna push back from people too.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah, if I own that house, I'm gonna come up here
And you would too.
and rip you up one side and down the
You
other.
would too,
Huh?
and you would too.
Oh, I would.
But you did.
Yeah. Huh?
But
Oh,
you
yeah, well,
did.
yeah, I didn't want apartment complex in my neighborhood.
And I'm not gonna vote for it for that reason. I know everybody over there. And it's not what it is. And I think that's too cheap, so. I'll say that before we make a motion.
Does anyone like to make a motion?
I'm not, again, I mean, this will get fought just like everything else has been fought, so just know that's coming. Again, I'm okay with it, but that property gets rezoned to commercial. And I don't know, if you pull the business license to the second entry zone, I don't know how that works, but,
That's the full,
yeah.
that's the main part of it, if you so choose. That it would move, it wouldn't be pulled, it would be moved
Yeah.
to that location.
Yeah, and then moving forward, I would also put an ordinance in that makes it to where the board is who issues business license and not code enforcement. That's too much responsibility on the
We should still have to look at, make sure that, like a restaurant has or a business has sales tax permit like I do, restaurants have to have a health.
Yeah.
And
We have,
I do all of that, they do my due diligence.
yeah,
But technically, all we're supposed to talk about is 2 acres,
yeah.
if we're willing to sell it.
Yeah, actually, you
Well,
can't even do 3, can you?
So what we're willing to say is that it's too cheap. At 10.
Alright,
So that's it.
So we can table this for the next meeting. Or you can make a motion. I'm not opposed to the location, I'm not opposed to, as long as, hard surfaces are put in and meet the code of ordinances that are set for that. I think,
Your FEMA map, up here where Lowe's is, south of that, when there's a, floodplain in that.
Little bit, not a lot.
What, a little bit in this?
right across the parking lot of Lowe's.
I'm a yes vote,
Not
as
on
long as
this
we can do
property. Not on this property.
as long as we can do
Not on
contingencies.
Yeah, it's
As long as we
it's
can
on
do-
license,
But not on him, it's on the backside, the
Yeah.
backside.
so there ain't none up there.
Then on it too.
Cause I know how much he's asking for that.
I make a motion that we approve the sale of 3
acres.
I would just put,
Be careful.
I would just put, I wouldn't say exact, I would
3
say,
acres
I would-
more or less.
I would say 3 acres plus or minus pending,
It's not worded that way though.
I'm gonna say, I'm not trying to,
Yeah.
but can you, since it says clearly
Yeah.
Still
on
2
the
acres.
deal, I'm just asking, I don't want you to get messed later.
yeah, I don't know, we don't have legal counsel here, so.
It says 2 on that, right?
And that's how Bob asked me to put it on there.
Wait, I mean, oh,
Yeah.
Tom.
My recommendation is if you wanna do a motion, is to start the process. You don't have a survey, anything done
Yeah.
to accomplish
say
it.
exactly how much it is.
This is Bruce.
No, Tom.
I'm just trying to-
Hello,
Howdy, Tom, how are you, sir?
good, how are you, Bob?
Oh, I'm alright. Hey, we're in the, middle of a special meeting here.
Right,
Couple of things I wanted to run over with you real quick.
sure.
Number one, we are discussing the sale of some town property, and we put it down as 2 acres. Well, for it to work out better for us, it would be like 3.2, 3.3, something, 3 point something. So anyways, can we, in the middle of the meeting, change that to? But after that, my next question, can we sell property with contingencies that if no progress is made within 18 months, the property reverts back to us? Because
That's a good question. In other words, you're selling it,
we're cheap selling it to get a trailer park off of Main Street.
and you wanna make sure that somebody doesn't buy it and then just sit on it. And not
Yes.
do anything like
Yes.
they're supposed to do. I cannot tell you one way or another on that. Let me do the research.
Okay.
And then I would just pass that, especially since you've got the wrong acreage. Yeah, and I'll send you a memo on that.
Okay. Awesome. That's what I need. I sure appreciate you, man.
Okay, anytime, Bob.
Thank you,
got
sir.
my memo on that contract?
Yes, sir. That's the next step. Thank you.
Okay, good enough, thanks. Bye.
Alright, on number 7.
These are questions,
How did you word that again, Adam?
I mean,
Start of the process.
yeah, move forward with the process.
I make a motion that we move forward with the process, the beginning process of selling said property and possibly more acreage.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
No.
Motion approved.
We have to sign the minutes that you write, correct, in the next meeting?
Okay. So, at the next meeting, we'll go ahead and put this on again
How do you want it worded on the next?
with the actual acreage and
3.3.
I would put it as.
Do we need to get a
I would
survey
get a
company?
survey.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm
That'll
saying.
cost
That was a survey.
Yeah, you're gonna
Just
have to
square that up?
survey it, you're gonna have to survey it anyway to do a lot split.
So let's get the survey going and see what we can do.
Who's responsible for calling the surveyor?
Dave.
Gotcha.
Speed dial.
I bet he knows one.
You understand what we're wanting to do, basically?
Square it up,
Yeah.
Then we'll at least have.
So while we're there, we talked about surveying the field. Do you still wanna go ahead and do that? Sure, the baseball field, but we never were clear on that. I know it's two different things.
Well, you know, the biggest thing we're not clear on is who owns it.
That's what, we'd have to get a survey to find that out, wouldn't we? Or-
Let's move
Well,
on,
it's-
let's move on to new business and then
Yeah.
we'll discuss that.
Sorry, that's, yeah, good.
Alright, number 8, new business.
Okay, now that,
yeah.
while we're there, this is what I was thinking, because you mentioned the other day, but we never really,
Yeah, so, and then, cause under new business, I was gonna bring up yesterday, the president of Bank First called me back, I'm gonna go sit down with him on Monday at 10 o'clock. I don't have permission from the school board or Carrie Griggs herself, just Ludi Griggs, to kind of just basically go and have talks in regards to the explanation to Bank First. He's already agreed over the phone that, if there was any old agreement on the scoreboard there as far as any, you know, paying to have their name put on it, of course, all that was done while the Bank of Union, you know, and once they changed it, they just changed the name on the scoreboard. He said his admittance was that he doesn't know of any contracts as well, no agreements of any kind, so he would just wanna start fresh with us. I explained to him that the town owns the land, the school, leases it, we don't know where the old lease agreements are, we're looking into creating new lease agreement between the town and the school on the ballpark itself. The school says that they had insurance, but it's a $25,000 deductible, and the scoreboard's only gonna be 15 to 20,000 for all new everything. That's including sandblasting and painting the existing poles. So it doesn't make sense to try to claim it on insurance.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna go and present to him quotes and see if there's, you know, since their name's on it and they did it last time, if they're interested in sponsoring it this time, and seeing how much they would pay, so. Nothing will be agreed upon, I'll bring you guys back with details, and if you can put that on the next
I have
agenda,
both of
okay,
those items already on
That way we can
the agenda,
discuss them and
yeah.
actually make decisions if need be.
They're both
so.
line items. And I've dug up quite a bit of the park
Yeah.
information.
Oh, you have?
You guys will have.
Any of that you can get, tell me with the facts, so.
I'll see what I can find and email it to you.
Yes, please.
Just, you know, copy, got the old agreements and things in there.
Okay.
that I'm
Alright.
digging up.
Number 9, Ryan Dawson.
I got something else on new business too.
Okay.
So with this I-3 vertical that we come up with, what do y'all think about, besides with municipal money, if that we have a total of 255 meters that are gonna be constant, which is, sound like it's gonna be going up. If we did some kind of, like, Piedmont does like a storm drain fee, even though that we don't have storm drains for that, but it's a storm drain fee that'll be added to the water bill. And then we also go up on commercial on the bulk rate to the 85 accounts that are bulk rate. So it's, whatever the cost is, divided by 255, which the other day at the meeting, it was $40 and something else. Divided by 12,
yeah.
for 12 months, it was like $4 and something cents a month. Or 3 something cents a month, or you ought to do that.
So, if you took the exact price, it's $3.34.
$3.34?
Yeah, but that doesn't count any bulk.
Right.
So what we,
Have the
I come
bulk
up with
people pay
earlier.
majority of it.
if we did, if we were gonna do something, we did $3.50 for residential and like 5 for bulk.
And then that they would pay for.
That's what we pay for it, that would give us a little extra, you know.
Right.
So, just a thought,
Where then, that's who's paying for it.
but the exact price would be
Instead of
$334.
Us, and then we can always put that money in, like the streets and storm drain fees, and it would go into like our streets and alley account, where future events, we ever have to replace water lines in town, then we're not taking the brunt of it.
So what'd you say in municipal authority?
How
Well-
would we take money out of municipal and put it in streets and alleys?
Can't do that.
Can't.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it would,
They just build wealth.
yeah,
So we,
It'd be set in case you need it.
yeah, it'd be paying for it instead of what we're paying for, you know, we're
so
having,
it's, 800 and what we.
making money where you sleep kind of deal.
Yeah,
This town wouldn't be out of any.
Like $800 something a month.
Software and stuff.
I'm not above it. KD?
Pretty much gonna be a watershed, I mean, you're saving labor on one end by paying them $13,000 to start, basically, ain't it? But somebody's not doing that work anymore.
But, well, I like on her deal, she said she had, the postage for $200, it was $60 for this month, or $200 just for the water bill this month. And what was the postage on this other deal? If they do it?
That was less than,
Like 68 cents, I believe.
it was less than what it cost us to do that.
Right.
That's, I mean, it's not costing us anymore, it's just the upfront.
Right. Then it would be paid for the next year.
Yeah. I'm not above.
$3.50 on everybody's water bill, is that what you're proposing? Something like that?
It was
That's the number,
333
that's.
or 42 or whatever it was,
Throwing a
if,
number out there.
to watch it, but like you said, you're kind of taking away the labor part, our part, so. If you wanted to do it, it was 334, you break even. It's easier to put 350, that's 60
Yeah, that's
cents.
what I said.
Would that have to be a vote of the people?
No, this is a raise on your, like, it's like a raise of the water bill, so to speak.
You would
I'm not saying you have to know what I'm saying,
resolution
it's still got to be voted
to
on.
add that.
That's the case, nobody ever voted on water raise.
And we sat there for years without even going up, or
Yeah.
matching anything.
Every now and then we'd match, and a lot of times we wouldn't move.
It's just a thought.
I think it's something
Just,
that-
to help, basically.
I like the idea of it, I don't know right now is the spot, I think maybe in the next agenda, make an agenda item.
Well, we can't vote on it, so.
Yeah.
Question is, do you want us to make it agenda, I guess?
That's where I'm going.
I have no problem with it. There's water, $3.50 per paper,
Just make it an agenda item, and then we beat the dead horse in.
make it an agenda item.
Do make it, that's what we're.
Yes, yeah. Alright, number
And
9.
5 on,
350 and 5.
bulk,
RD,
this thought.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second that, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Maybe you can
Aye.
buy